Okay, so here we have Crunchman versus Hervalt for round 8 of OSDT in the 6-1 bracket. Game 1's already underway a few turns in. With both Mews setting Stealth Rock and Tailwind on the first few turns, pretty much. Both Mews also having Snarl, which they just used. So both sides with a lot of damage mitigation here, but Hervalt's definitely in the better spot with Incineroar because that's not intimidated. It couldn't be burned even if the Mew did have Wisp, which it can't. And both these Pokemon don't like facing up against that Incineroar. And there's no Intimidate in the back to bring in either. So this is a good spot for Hervalt. Crunchman brings out the Mungus and goes for the Earth Power, which does only 23. The Mew goes for Coaching. Incineroar knocks off the Kyurem, which does a lot of damage, and it also means that it'll be very low if it switches out and comes back in on rocks. The Mungus is definitely going to die to a +1 Flare Blitz, unquestionably. But Hervalt opts to switch to Fini to block a Spore and just target the Kyurem, which also works, and covered the possible switching of the Mungus out to Heatran there, which could have been annoying. Landorus comes out for Crunchman. I don't think Sludge Bomb should... Well, actually, it's revealed U-turn, so that's probably Scarf, right? Yeah, it's been revealed Scarf Landorus. So yes, you should definitely not be able to knock out the Fini with a Sludge Bomb here. Yeah, miles away from it. But then Incineroar, not targeted by the Landorus, is then able to attack, pick up a KO, and stay alive for the next turn here. So this is a very big lead for Hervalt here. This Mew can fake out, but I wouldn't say Snarl is really super threatening to these two, but Tailwind would help. Heatran can't really threaten the Fini by itself massively here, though. Yeah, actually, this Fini is kind of... Well, I don't know about that. I think if you protect it there on the fake out, then Fini's in a pretty good spot. But now taking that eruption for nothing, it's not so good. But with the Mew dead, without saying Tailwind though, this should probably be in the bag for Hervalt with Kyurem Black, Landorus, and Celesteal all in the back and healthy. Eruption doing 1% to both Pokemon, knocking them out there. Very nice. Mew and Landorus come out. And I would imagine this is going to be a fake out Earth Power. Not sure which slot into which you would go for here. Also not sure how Crunchman would want to react to this. Sorry, I had to go for a minute there. I'm back now, so what happened there? Crunchman switched to Mungus, which was the Earth Power target. And it lived the Earth Power Snarl. Just. Hervalt went Curum, which I don't know if I completely agree with that. Although I guess the plan here is probably to coaching and then live a close combat. That would make sense. Because otherwise Urshifu is going to outspeed the Curum. Or if you go for Tailwind so that Curum outspeeds, then Amoonguss could redirect. From Crunchman's point of view, I'm not sure what you would want to go for here. I think you maybe would possibly need to redirect in close combat. Okay, it switches out Amoonguss to save it. So he did risk the potential of a Tailwind and Fusion Bolt. I think, well, I don't know if that would have killed, possibly. But I guess Hervalt was maybe unlikely to go for that because of the Mungus possibly being able to redirect. Well, either way, okay, the Celesteal is dead. So now with Kurm's only damage dealer, that's actually not good for Hervalt. I imagine even with a couple of snarls, I think the Heatran should be able to knock out the Kurm in a couple of hits, possibly. Though I could be wrong actually if it's AV. Ah yeah, this also makes sense. Just redirect with the Mungus so you can guarantee get the hit with Urshifu and the Kurm here. And at 51, even with the coaching, I would imagine it still dies. Yeah, it should. And it does. And with the Snarl Mew, there's no way you're beating these two. So Hervalt loses game 1. Though I feel like he had the better position at one point and then let it slip. I feel like my first thought was when he went Kyurem around, yeah, after Landorus went down. I feel like I probably would have went Celesteela and kind of like, to some extent, sack that to get up Tailwind, or just try and use the Celesteela to try and position Kyurem and Landorus out, because that's what you want. Whereas the Mew was out kind of, was it the whole match? Not quite, but pretty much the whole match for Hervalt. But Snarl doesn't always give a threatening enough presence if you can just ignore it with strong stuff or bulky stuff. But we have game 2 now, though. Another Mew mirror. Not largely surprisingly. Crunchman has an interesting team, which I would think has to have Dragon Dance somewhere on it. And Hervalt has a Semi-Rim team. Both Mews lead, unsurprisingly. Dragapult is in a good spot here, being immune to Fake Out and threatening the Mew, but if this is Assault Vest Kurm, it should be able to live a Draco. Crunchman protects Dragapult and goes for the Snarl. Well, Hervalt also goes for the Snarl and Ice Beam. I think that was a tactical protect, just to avoid taking damage, and then he might switch to Incineroar. Or, yeah, that also makes sense. Since I imagine then it must have lived the -1 Ice Beam. And Rocks Up is also good for Crunchman there. Hervalt just switched out the Kurm, so he didn't even get any damage that turn. I feel like I don't really like that play, since presumably you're Assault Vest, and that definitely still lives a Draco from there, even a Draco plus Snarl. It should definitely still live. Now Hervalt should be able to get Trick Room though, which is definitely something that Crunchman's team doesn't massively appreciate, but massive shadow ball into the Diancie, and it's also going to be very vulnerable to a glide here. Yeah, Dragapult probably wants to switch to Incineroar, not risking taking a knockoff. Also meaning U-turn does less into Rillaboom if it does go for that. And yeah, Rillaboom does go for knockoff. And Hervalt is still the one pressured here, even though he does have Trick Room up. Just lets the Diancie die. I'm wondering if that's possibly because he forgot Terrain was up, because the thing where they've removed the background animation for some reason. But that was a big blow. So Crunchman probably has this in the bag now. He's definitely able to stall out Trick Room and then should just be able to overrun the team with Dragapult and friends. Where Hervalt has no more speed control really. The Grassy Glide was a crit, but I'm pretty sure that wouldn't have mattered on the Diancie. Switching in the Dragapult, I don't love that play. That's like your best Pokemon and you're risking it there. The Mew coming out is fine. Dragapult, that's not great. It's either, I think it's possibly just out of glide range, or it'll be like possibly glide range, or dies to Life Orb, recoil once plus glide, which is just not what you want. Very predictable snarl and protect there. Imagine the most obvious move is target Landorus with Pult, yeah, and go for another Snarl, because Volcanion won't really be able to threaten the Dragapult much. It is dropping lower and lower. Goes for the same play again. And yeah, the Dragapult is down. But even with their Dragapult down, that shouldn't be enough for Hervalt. Yeah, he just forfeits. Tailwind up, he just go into Urshifu, probably, and then just threaten all the stuff. So Crunchman wins game 2 and wins the set. Definitely felt like he was in control all of game 2, pretty much. Game 1, it feels like Hervalt had an lit slip. Okay, that's all for now then.